All right, so Aries rules Rocky Mountains, rules any kind of mountainous place, especially more of the newer, jagged mountains, not like the really, really old mountains that have weathered and gotten more mild. That's more Virgo. We'll talk about that. But mountains, rocky places like, uh, and of course, even a climbing gym, a place where you're climbing up, walls. Even a skate park, because a skate park has just a bunch of walls and concrete and vertical, like rocky, you know, uh, obtrusive stuff and dangerous stuff. Now, you have to have a lot of fun with this stuff, trying to modernize it, trying to apply it to a modern context. So they say in the Yavana Jataka, they say like Aries rules places of goats, sheeps, caves, mines, fires, metals, and jewels, and places of thieves, hideouts of thieves. Because Aries, one thing it can rule is thieves. But you have to, that's all still true, but you have to like modernize it. So places of fire and metals, that can be a kitchen a lot of times. So a kitchen environment can be a very Aries environment. Cooks tend to be ruled by Mars or have a strong Mars. um, and those are really aggressive environments. It's, at least here in America, if you actually are in the back of a kitchen, you hear the way people are shouting and all this stuff. Being a holistic person wanting to eat holistic food, it's a little bit unsettling, since the vibrations of people's attitudes do carry over into the food when they're cooking. This is why in ancient India, chefs would even take a bath before cooking a major meal for people to balance their chemistry, so that that didn't happen, so that they didn't make a bunch of people angry just because they were angry when they were cooking. Anywho, Aries can rule that. It can rule in the context of cities. It can rule skyscrapers. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting thing. It can, these big business executives who are in a city in a skyscraper, that can sometimes be an Aries thing as well. And Aries people are definitely comfortable with like going up and down very high peaks. All right, I'm looking at my notes here in my little Jyotish journal. You should all have things like this and have them filled with your notes. If you want to get good at astrology, because don't expect to retain all this in your head always, all the time. Taurus. Taurus rules villages. That's a really cool one, and that's still very true. Villages. So, Taurus rules all your little domestic places where children and families are growing and things, and that's a Venus thing. That's a Taurus thing. Food, nourishment, providing, rules those types of environments. Rules just, neighborhoods. Have here, yeah, farming villages. Yeah, suburbs. That's how I would apply that in a modern context to just suburbs. It can rule schools, elementary schools, especially like younger age schools, early schooling. It can rule places. Oh yeah, of course, any places where like oxes or cows or any kind of quadrupeds are being kept. It can rule those environments as well. Gemini. Gemini is said to rule cities. And it's an air sign. It's a social sign. It's a very expressive sign. Likes to have its senses stimulated. A city is definitely a place where that can happen. It's also in the Yavana Jataka. Aries is, or sorry, Gemini is said to rule places places where dancers, singers, musicians are at, places of entertainment, you know, even bars, venues like that. Those can be ruled by Gemini. Places of recreation. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Places of recreation, places of game playing. You know, Gemini loves to play games. Um, that's a major one. So even like a recreational field, if you lost your if you lost an item and you're looking for it, and the progeny says that it's in a Gemini environment, and you're near, and you were just at like a soccer field or a playground, you need to go check that playground. That's where you might have left the thing. Cancer can rule foreign places. It can rule beaches, of course, where the crabs dwell, places where crabs dwell. It can rule orchards and gardens. especially fruit orchards. It can rule wells, where you go down for water. It can rule places if they're not an orchard, but just there are a lot of fruit trees there, like groves, gardens. It can rule the queen's chambers, of course, because Cancer is the queen. Um, it can rule meadows. It can rule meadows, and it can rule places of goddesses. Places where goddesses are said to dwell is one of the things that Yavana Jataka gives to Cancer. So Cancer's a pretty nice environment, if you ask me.